New York Giants Week 9 preview. They play the Dallas Cowboys at home on Monday Night Football. The Cowboys come in at 4-3, the Giants at 2-6. The Giants have not beaten the Cowboys since, let me see, it was December 11th, 2016, where they won 10-7. Back when we had a good defense and made the playoffs. That was the Odell slant game. It was a very fun one. One of the best Giants wins in a while, and I honestly missed that feeling of beating the Cowboys. So hopefully this time it will happen. So let's get into the Cowboys notes to start it off. So let's start with the Dallas offense. They're averaging 437 total yards per game. That's number one in the NFL. 27 points per game, sixth best in the NFL. 291 passing yards per game, third best in the NFL. 146 rushing yards per game, fourth best in the NFL. So they're top six in the most important categories on offense. I didn't realize how good their offense was based off the numbers this year. It's pretty crazy, honestly. So got to give them some respect. Their offensive lines, once again, a really good offensive line for Dallas, no surprise there. Sixth best in pass protection, and then in adjusted line yards, they're third best in the NFL. So their offensive line has been playing great. They had some injuries at tackle at one point, but those guys should be able to play in this game. Lael Collins and then Tyrone Smith, those guys should be able to play in this game. They have a lot of injuries right now, the Cowboys, and a lot of guys who did not practice on Wednesday, but I'm sure they'll be able to play by Monday, so I'm not really concerned about their main guys missing this game. Cooper versus Jenkins, Amari Cooper against Janoris Jenkins on the outside, Michael Gallup against DeAndre Baker, Randall Cobb against Grant Haley in the slot. Those are the main matchups. I don't like the Giants' chances very much in those matchups. Those are some good receivers for the most part. I mean, Amari Cooper is like in that elite, category, I would say. Michael Gallup might be there one day. He's a second-year receiver who's had a really nice year so far, especially week one when he played the Giants. He went on to miss a couple games, but when he's played, he's been good for the Cowboys. And Randall Cobb, who's had, I guess some good games at some points, but overall not great. But against Grant Haley, anything could happen, so you never know. Zeke Elliott against the linebackers, that's of course a big matchup. So it seems like every time Zeke plays the Giants, he finds a way to score a touchdown. Even if it's not an efficient game, he'll find a way to score. Like week one, he wasn't having a great game. He split carries with Tony Pollard, but still found the end zone at the end, so I'm sure he'll find a way to score. And same thing with Jason Witten. It's always inevitable that he has a good game against the Giants. He, once again, did not have a great game week one, but he found the end zone, so that seems to happen as well. Zeke Elliott and Jason Witten, those guys just have to score, it seems like, so we'll see what happens with the offense. On defense, there are 324 total yards allowed per game, 8th best in the NFL, 17 points per game, 7th best in the NFL, 96 rushing yards allowed per game, 13th best in the NFL, 228 passing yards allowed per game, 9th best in the NFL. So by the defensive numbers are not as good as their offense or as efficient as their offense this year, but this is still a good defense. They're top half in the league in all these categories, so you can't really disrespect Dallas's defense. They have one of the best linebacking cores in football with Jalen Smith and Van Der Esch and Sean Lee. Bunch of good linebackers on this team, probably the best overall linebacking core in football. Can they block DeMarcus Lawrence? That's a big thing with Nate Solder or Mike Remmers. I mean, those guys tend to struggle at some point, so we'll see if they can block the defensive ends on this team. And the secondary on Dallas is good, but it's not unbeatable. I think Daniel Jones will have some success in this game. I don't think he'll kill them like he did with the Lions and throw for 400 or 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. But at the same time, I think he's going to have some success in this game. I think Daniel Jones can probably throw for around 250 and 2 touchdowns, hopefully. So the secondary, while it's good, is not unbeatable. So I like the Giants' chances on offense in this game as compared to their defense for sure. So now let's get on to the Giants' notes. So for the Giants offense, they're averaging 333 total yards per game, 24th in the NFL, 19 points per game, 22nd in the NFL. So the big news is Sterling Shepard might come back, I think after missing 2 games, I think it was, with the concussion, his second one of the year. I think it's kind of dangerous, honestly. I mean, I don't want this guy to have his 3rd concussion in 1 year. That's not good at all. So I hope the Giants are safe about this. I hope he feels okay. But as we know, like once you suffer, more concussions, you're more susceptible to getting another one in the future. So, I mean, it might not take a lot to have this man have another concussion. So I hope they're safe about this, and I hope it's the right decision. But I don't know, you're 2-6. Do you really want to risk his future? I mean, that's a big question, honestly. I mean, I'm not saying I want him to sit out. I want him to be there, obviously. But for his safety and for his, NFL career, I feel like sitting out the rest of the year is not the worst idea for Sterling Shepard. But seems like he might be back in this one. He practiced fully today on Thursday, so we'll see what happens. The offensive line was really good last week. I mean, pass blocking was tremendous. I think it was ranked the best in the NFL last week. Their running offensive line for run blocking wasn't fantastic. I think it was average for the most part. Saquon didn't have too many holes. Saquon was, there's a couple of plays where he was very close to breaking off a big run, but it never happened. So I think their run blocking could be a little bit better, but against a team like this, it's not going to be easy. So we'll see what happens with them. Usually Evan Engram has a good game against the Cowboys. I think back to the Week 17 game last year, he played very well against them in the home game. He had a touchdown against them Week 1 as well. So Evan Engram usually has a good game against Dallas. Hopefully he keeps that up. Get Saquon more carries than Week 1. So Saquon, I think that was a big thing about, I'm definitely a Pat Shurmur supporter, as you guys know, but that pissed me off Week 1. They only gave Saquon like 11 carries, I think it was. That's just not enough at all. So hopefully they give this man some more carries this game. Daniel Jones' first start against Dallas, because obviously way back in Week 1 it was Eli Manning as a starter, so it's hard to believe. I think Jones got 1 or 2 drives in this game. He had the fumble obviously, but didn't have a start against Dallas, so this is his first Dallas start of many hopefully. And Golden Tate's had 10 plus targets in each of the last 2 games. I think he had 11 last week and 10 the week before, or vice versa, whatever it was. So Golden Tate's been his go-to guy, as I've been saying. And with Sterling Shepard back, it's going to be interesting to see what the target distribution is on this team. Of course, Sterling Shepard's going to get his 7 to 9 targets a game or something like that. So we'll see how much that impacts Golden Tate's production on this offense. So on to defense now. 386 total yards allowed per game. That's 5th worst in the NFL. 27 points per game allowed, 6th worst in the NFL. The big news this week, of course, was the Leonard Williams trade, and it looks like he'll probably make his debut for the Giants in this one. I think he has a week of preparation to get used to the playbook and all that kind of stuff. He has been practicing, obviously, as you can see in the picture on the top left. So I'm very excited to watch this guy and see what he brings for this defensive line. Dak Prescott against this defense, Week 1, 405 yards and 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was crazy efficient with completion percentage. They made Dak Prescott look way better than he actually is. And Dak Prescott has improved this year, I have to admit it, but still, he should not be putting up those numbers against you. But against a defense like this, it's very possible. So another thing, I'm kind of annoyed with this because, of course, I go back and watch the film review videos and make those videos. I just see too much nonsense with Antoine Bethea and just too many bad plays where he's the reason we're allowing these big plays and taking bad angles to guys and with the ball. I don't know. Like, when did we put Julian Love in and just end this whole experiment? I don't know if they're going to do it when they're mathematically out of the playoffs, and then maybe they just move on with him and give Julian Love a start. But I don't know. I'm just annoyed with it. Obviously, they don't have many options on this roster, but Antoine Bethea has to play better. And I don't know. I feel like the Cowboys might go after him a few times in this game with some deep balls. How does the new defensive line look? So I think it'll be interesting. So, of course, you have Dalvin Tomlinson in the middle now. You have Dexter Lawrence on one end, and then you have Leonard Williams on the other end. So it'll be fun to watch and see what these guys do exactly, how they play together. Of course, it's one game, but if they have like a good impact and get to Dak Prescott a few times, it's very encouraging, and I would love to see that. So hopefully this defensive line makes some noise in this game. How does I already said that. Does Deon Buchanan play more? So against the Lions, he only had 11 snaps. I understand he had like less than a week to prepare for that game and stuff like that, but he's been familiar with this system. Of course, played for Betcher in Arizona before. They played David Mayo on a lot more snaps than him, so that was kind of annoying to see. I think Deon Buchanan is probably a lot better than David Mayo. I mean, that's not saying much, but still, I still want to see this guy play more. He's obviously the more talented linebacker, so can we see Deon Buchanan get more snaps, please? That's the thing. Sam Beal making his debut. So, I mean, Sam Beal's missed how many eligible games at this point? 16 plus however many games has been. 16 plus 8, whatever that is, 24 games. So he's missed his first 24 eligible NFL games. He's finally making his debut. It's looking like in this game he wears number 23, so look out for him on the field. We'll see how much he plays and all that kind of stuff. I personally have no idea how much he'll play. I think they'll mix him in at some points, but I don't know. I mean, they have to keep this guy healthy, obviously. He's had some injury concerns and some injury histories at this point, so I don't know. I'm excited to see him play, though, so we get to watch Leonard Williams make his debut, and same with Sam Beal, so hopefully it'll be a fun game for this defense, and maybe the defense improves in this game. So that'll be it for this video. I guess I'll put a score prediction out there. I do think Dallas wins this game, but I don't think it's by a lot. I think the Giants are going to be very competitive in this game. I could be wrong. They might lose by 21, and I might look like a clown. But I'm going to say the Giants lose this one 27-24, something like that. I think it's going to be a close game, honestly. I'm sure the defense and the secondary will let them down at some point in this game, but I like Daniel Jones to put up points in this game. We know Eli Manning had a very rough time against this Dallas defense Week 1, but I think Daniel Jones right now is better than Eli Manning at 38 years old. I mean, I'm speaking the truth, honestly. So I think they'll be able to score points in this game. I think Jones will be all right. We'll see what Saquon does. Can he rip off a big run? I'm sure he will at some point in this game. So I think the Giants will score. I think Dallas obviously has the better roster. I think there's no debating that at this point. So I think they win this game, but only by a little bit. I'd say like 3 or 4 points or something like that. I don't know what the spread is. I think it's like a -7 maybe for Dallas or something like that. So that's like the actual spread, but I think it should be like 3 or 4. So I think the Giants play well in this one. They'll be motivated, all that kind of stuff. So it'll be a fun game. I hope they pull it out. That'd be very fun, but we don't want to hurt our draft pick at this point. You know, obviously we have a bunch of guys that we're already eyeing for the draft in April, and the playoffs aren't looking likely at this point, but you never know. So if the Giants win this game, it's 3-6, and then Dallas goes to 4-4. So I mean, yeah, they're not out of it technically. Of course, I don't think the Giants are making the playoffs, but crazier things have happened. So we'll see. That's it for this video, though. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will talk to you for the reaction video on Monday night.